Now, as a beloved character that a lot of people are rooting for, I feel a certain responsibility to make good decisions.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 HBO scandals and controversies.
Because I dabbled into witchcraft, I hung around people who were doing these things.
Having fun?
I'm not making this stuff up.
For this list, we're looking at the most notable instances of drama surrounding the network and/or its programming. Did any of these situations completely shock you? Which one? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Film release switch-up. The COVID-19 pandemic brought many disruptions to everyday life, and the film industry was forced to readjust their usual model. Countless movie theaters were forced to close, and many films had to push back their initial release dates. In 2021, Warner Media announced plans to co-release a slate of movies in theaters and to stream on HBO Max simultaneously. They called it Project Popcorn.
We'll be partners. It'll be in my name. You run it. Exactly how you want it. It'll be hands off.
While many felt this was reasonable considering the circumstances, numerous filmmakers were furious about the change, especially since they allegedly weren't notified beforehand. Some saw it as a means to increase the streamer subscriptions, as opposed to an initiative designed to help the films themselves succeed. Project Popcorn has since ended. Number 9. Bill Maher's witchcraft clip. The HBO show Real Time with Bill Maher may have seriously influenced an election. In 2010, Bill Maher played a clip from his former series Politically Incorrect, in which Christine O'Donnell talks about her experience, quote, dabbling into witchcraft.
You were a witch.
I dabbled into witchcraft. I never joined a coven.
Wait
but
a minute,
I did.
you were
I
a
did.
witch? Yeah, she was a witch.
You
were a witch?
I didn't join a coven. Let's get this
Wait
straight.
a minute.
Since she was a senatorial candidate, this contributed to a massive spike in conversations around her and forced her to comment on the validity of the claim.
One of my first dates with a witch was on a satanic altar, and I didn't know it. And I mean, there's little blood there and stuff like that.
That was a date?
Her campaign released an ad of her plainly stating that she was not a witch, which was widely mocked.
I'm not a witch. I'm nothing you've heard. I'm you.
Kristen Wiig of Saturday Night Live even performed an impression.
Isn't that what the people of Delaware deserve? A candidate who promises first and foremost that she's not a witch? That's the kind of candidate Delaware hasn't had since 1692.
O'Donnell lost the election and admitted the advertisement was a bad move. Maher, for his part, apologized to her. Number 8. The Game of Thrones Blood Drive. One of the most popular HBO series ever, Game of Thrones had a massive fan base. But with great power comes great responsibility. Prior to the release of its final season, the series launched a Bleed for the Throne campaign in which fans would donate blood to the American Red Cross and potentially win a prize. There was one major problem though. Gay and bisexual men were banned from participating. The FDA initially put this restriction into place as a response to the AIDS crisis of the 1980s. While certain changes have since been made to diminish the hurdles LGBTQ+ people face, the policy is widely considered outdated.
They're laughing at us all across the Riverlands.
Those who couldn't donate blood could still enter the sweepstakes, but many felt that the campaign's promotional materials were misleading.
But when enough people make false promises, words stop meaning anything. Then there are no more answers, only better and better lies.
Number 7. TJ Miller. This actor and comedian has had controversy following him for most of his career. Miller was one of the stars of HBO's comedy series Silicon Valley, but was written off at the end of season 4.
I'd have sex with that if you hosed the guilfoyle off of her.
The cast and crew of the show reportedly had difficulty working with the star, as he would apparently show up to shoots inebriated, if at all. Miller denied this, blaming his excessive work schedule.
I see exactly what you're doing. Poaching my tenants? You stole my business model.
Shortly after his exit, sexual assault accusations against him came to light, which he also denied. HBO's comment on this was not very substantial, simply stating that the report did not surface during his time working for the network. Number 6. Leaving Neverland. HBO's documentary outlining the accusations against late pop star Michael Jackson was contentious to say the least.
My best thing about Hawaii? Being with you.
Two alleged victims of his abuse, Wade Robson and James Safechuck, came forward and shared stories of mistreatment they claimed to have suffered at the singer's hands. The Jackson family responded to the film, calling it a complete fabrication. While it's impossible to truly know the full story, the painful experiences the men describe in excruciating detail are hard to hear.
He didn't mean to lock the door.
He didn't know the door was locked. That's what he told me.
This wasn't the first time Jackson was accused of mistreatment, notably having been found not guilty of assaulting Gavin Arvizo in 2005. Either way, his legacy has been under serious scrutiny since Leaving Neverland's release. Number 5, the explicit nature of Euphoria.
No matter how hard you try to hide it, if you're doing drugs, you're gonna get caught. It's inevitable. And when that does happen, you don't want to be on the defensive.
The hit series Euphoria follows a group of teens, including protagonist Rue, who grapples with substance use disorder. The show has been critically acclaimed and has many passionate fans. But the anti-drug program DARE has notably advocated against the series, accusing it of, quote, glorifying substance use, among other things, for a relatively young audience.
This is a fickle industry. Y'all come and go. I'm just trying to stack my cash, pay off our mortgage.
Still, there's a lot of disagreement surrounding the topic. Many actually appreciate the rawness and honesty of Euphoria, saying it brings comfort to those who may be experiencing similar hardships.
I'm serious, Rue. I've seen a lot of people die. None like you.
There's no denying there are many explicit scenes and serious situations featured in the teen drama series. Whether that's a good or bad thing, however, remains up for debate. Number 4, horse fatalities.
Jesus Christ, will someone please tell me what's happening?
The set of HBO's Luck had some major safety issues. The series was all about professional horse racing and starred actor Dustin Hoffman.
You suspect me? I take a fall protecting how many people. I have a tape recorder. You got qualms?
It had garnered some good reviews and acclaim, but production was halted after 3 horses unfortunately died on set. 2 of them were injured during filming of different race scenes in the first season, resulting in them being euthanized. After a 3rd horse met a similar fate, PETA and the American Humane Association called for action. Not wanting to cause any more harm, the show was brought to an end in 2012. Number 3, The Merger. Many television fans were disappointed to find that some of their favorite shows and movies were either canceled or removed from HBO Max as if they had never existed.
Are you getting HBO because we're supposed to get HBO and it's not on mine?
This is largely due to Warner Media, which includes HBO and HBO Max, merging with Discovery.
This country treats women like second-class citizens. We're overlooked, underpaid, and overwhelmed.
The company, dubbed Warner Brothers Discovery, was faced with litigation from shareholders, who saw the value of their stocks sink drastically. They are also being accused of overestimating HBO Max's active subscriber base. While it's too soon to see what good will come of this merger in the long term, we can only hope that some of HBO's beloved content will remain.
Do you know what that means? It means that we're done.
Number 2, Ty the Elephant. HBO's issues with their treatment of animals didn't end with Luck.
What do you say to a night off before we go hunt the wicked tiger in the morning?
Something's wrong.
In 2018, an elephant named Ty appeared in Westworld, much to the dismay of PETA. Ty came from an organization called Have Trunk Will Travel, which has been accused of harming the elephants employed for film and television projects. HBO defended their use of the animal, claiming to have had safety representatives nearby to check in on her and any other creatures. Ty sadly passed away a few years after her appearance in the show. PETA released an obituary in her honor, outlining the pains of being forced to work in Hollywood as an animal. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Confederate. In 2017, it was announced that HBO had greenlit a new series from white male television producers David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. If those names sound familiar, it's because they're the creators of Game of Thrones. It was going to center on what would have happened if the South had successfully formed its own country where slavery remained following the Civil War. The concept faced serious backlash from activists and the general public alike, who were outraged by the insensitive and painful subject matter. And the fact that the cast of Game of Thrones wasn't exactly diverse didn't put people's minds at ease in terms of respectful representation. The project eventually died, while Benioff and Weiss moved on to bigger and better things.
See, the way I figure this war would be over a whole lot sooner if you boys just turn right on around and head on back down that way.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.